Novocaine is a mild-mannered introvert with congenital insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis. Working as an assistant manager at a trust credit union in San Diego, he lives a life of routine and caution, acutely aware that any injury he sustains could be life-threatening, without him even realizing. Nathan's co-worker, Sherry Margrave, has been interested in him for some time, drawn to his quiet nature and enigmatic presence. She frequently teases him, hoping to break through his shell, but Nathan hesitates, fearing his condition makes a relationship impossible. One evening, Sherry finally convinces him to join her for a drink at a local bar, where he unexpectedly runs into his childhood bully Travis, who mockingly calls him Novocaine. Though Nathan tries to brush it off, Sherry takes matters into her own hands, tricking Travis into drinking a shot of pure hot sauce. Amused and grateful, Nathan finds himself lowering his guard, and by the end of the night, he and Sherry share an intimate moment that feels both exhilarating and terrifying to him. The next morning, on Christmas Eve, Nathan arrives at work, still processing the events of the night before. His day takes a sudden and violent turn when a gang of robbers dressed in Santa suits, led by the ruthless Simon Greenlee, storm the credit union. The robbery quickly escalates when Simon murders Nathan's boss, Nigel, in cold blood. As chaos erupts, Nathan watches in horror as the gang takes Sherry hostage and speeds away. Something inside him snaps, an impulse he has never felt before, and he steals a police car to give chase. However, in his inexperience and panic, he follows the wrong vehicle, leading him to a deadly confrontation with one of the robbers, Ben Clark, in the kitchen of a small restaurant. A brutal fight ensues, culminating in Nathan shooting Ben dead. Shaken but resolute, Nathan examines Ben's body and notices a distinctive tattoo. With no other leads, he turns to Roscoe, his online gaming friend, for help. Though they have never met in person, Roscoe proves to be an invaluable ally, using his connections to trace the tattoo back to its artist, a man named Zeno. Nathan confronts Zeno, who refuses to talk until a violent struggle forces his hand. Beaten but determined, Nathan extracts Ben's last name from Zeno and calls in a favor from a colleague at the credit union to retrieve Ben's home address from loan documents. At Ben's house, Nathan encounters an unexpected trap. The place is rigged, and he finds himself ensnared in a brutal snare. Desperate, he calls Roscoe, hoping his friend will be willing to risk real-world consequences to help him. Before Roscoe arrives, Ben's brother Andre returns home and quickly realizes Nathan is responsible for Ben's death. Andre begins to torture Nathan, but Nathan, understanding his own condition, pretends to feel pain, prolonging the moment until Roscoe arrives. Together, they manage to overpower and kill Andre. Before they can flee, police officers Mincy Langston and her partner Coltrane Duffy arrive. Thinking quickly, Roscoe switches clothes with Nathan and is arrested in his place. Nathan's pursuit finally leads him to an auto shop, where he discovers a shocking truth. Sherry is Simon's sister, and had been involved in the heist from the beginning. Originally, she had been sent to seduce Nathan and extract the vault code, but over time, she developed genuine feelings for him. She is visibly distraught over Nigel's murder, something she had never anticipated Simon would do. Simon, however, has no such qualms and attempts to execute Nathan on the spot. But before he can, Coltrane arrives, shooting Simon. In the ensuing chaos, Simon manages to kill Coltrane and wound Mincy before escaping in an ambulance, taking an unconscious Nathan with him. Meanwhile, Sherry, now determined to save Nathan, breaks free from her restraints and pursues the ambulance, while Roscoe, despite his own injuries, rushes Mincy to the hospital. Inside the ambulance, Nathan regains consciousness and, using his unique resilience, manages to break free from his handcuffs. In a desperate move, he grabs a defibrillator and delivers a high-voltage shock to Simon, causing the ambulance to crash. The impact disorients both men, but Simon recovers first, furious and exhausted by Nathan's interference. He brutally breaks Nathan's arm and prepares to finish him off, just as Sherry arrives. Simon, betrayed and enraged, turns his gun on his sister. In a last act of defiance, Nathan injects himself with a shot of adrenaline, overriding his fatigue and injuries. With a final burst of strength, he drives his own exposed arm bone through Simon's jaw, killing him instantly before finally succumbing to exhaustion. Nathan awakens in a hospital 2 weeks later, his body finally feeling the toll of his reckless night. Despite his illegal actions, His role in stopping Simon and saving Mincy's life earns him a reduced sentence: 6 months of house arrest and 5 years of probation instead of prison. As he recovers, he reflects on how his life has changed forever. 1 year later, he visits Sherry, who is serving a short sentence for her involvement in the robbery. Sitting together in the prison visitation room, she slides a plate of cherry pie toward him, the same dessert she introduced him to on their first date, the first solid food he had eaten in years. Nathan slowly chews his bite of pie, and for the first time in a long while, allows himself to smile.
That's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, follow me on Instagram to stay updated on upcoming videos, get exclusive sneak peeks, and be the first to know what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.